Back it on up, baby. You on Z, we need to bring it back to A. Back, beep, 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 beep. I don't want these two to be together. Something doesn't seem 100% right, but my opinion is irrelevant. I'm just a lady on the internet making videos. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're gonna talk about it. Today we are reviewing Love is Blind Season 7, DC, Episodes 3 and 4. Once again, please do not make any comments with information that you have from Episodes 5 and 6. I have not seen it yet. Thank you so much. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Please don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post a new video. Let's get right into this, okay? So it's reveal time for Garrett and Taylor. Hi.
This is how you know me.
Absolutely.
I will say I was so nervous, but this reveal really warmed my heart. I was smiling from ear to ear. It was so sweet, and I didn't really find it to be awkward at all. Taylor tells Garrett that her mother's name is Fong, and she is from Hong Kong. They both look very pleased with each other physically. They compliment each other, and these two cannot stop kissing. They can't stop. They cannot stop. I had zero complaints about this reveal. Meanwhile, back at the quarters, Bodan and Ramses realize that they both have the same number one, and that is Marissa.
Ryan, really? Oh, hold on, let me look at my list.
That's your number.
I hope you do.
So you know that they're both about to turn up the heat and lay it on thick on their next dates with her, right? And in the next scene, we see Bodan telling Marissa that he knows who her other connection is with. And she's like, okay, that's cool, just as long as y'all don't pick the bromance over this relationship. Like, I don't want any of y'all saying, oh, you can have her. Nah, bro, you can have her. Nah, bro, you can have her. No, she doesn't want any of that. She wants all of them to come and give her 100%, no matter who they're friends with. But Bodan reassures her that he will not be doing that, okay? They discuss how many times they've been in love. For Marissa, it's only been once, and for Bodan, he says twice, one with his ex-girlfriend, and the second time was with his ex-wife. And Bodan says a little jokey joke that does make me chuckle, okay? He says that Marissa must have a thing for divorced men because both him and Ramses are divorced. Yeah. I will say at this point, I was like, I really like their vibe. They seem very similar. They connect on the sense of both being in the military. They both do dorky things. They're both avid readers. Both of them come from very religious backgrounds. And thus far, they seem to connect on a lot. But next, we see Marissa go on her date with her other connection, Ramses, and he's very upfront with her about the situation with Bodan. He lets her know that he has some fears about being open with her, and then she turns around and picks someone else, right? And that is definitely an understandable fear to have. He says that he gets the process, right? He knows that people are going to be dating multiple people. There's going to be some overlapping, but he just asks for Marissa to give him some reassurance while they're dating so that he doesn't feel like a dummy pretty much pouring his all into Marissa, and then she turns around and picks someone else. And Marissa does agree to do that for him because she says that her feelings for him are very, very strong. So next they speak about gender roles again. I really love this conversation. Ramses says that he does not want to be the dad that just wakes up, gets ready for work. Meanwhile, mama is struggling, trying to make breakfast, trying to bathe the kids, okay, getting them dressed for school, and still getting ready to go to her job as well, right? He says that he wants to be an involved father. And in this scene, I said, oh, this man gets it. He understands that as a parent, just because you're a dad doesn't mean you get to take a back seat. He wants to be equally involved, and I love that. Marissa does say that she would prefer not to be a stay-at-home mom. She says that she has a law degree that she wants to put to use, and she also says that she wouldn't mind Ramses being a stay-at-home dad. Now, the way that she said that, I didn't know if it was a suggestion or a request. It seems like it was more of a request, but Ramses, he said he was cool with it. I'm like, all right. Child, so next we see Tim and Alex, okay? I'm gonna get into Tim a little bit later, but for now, he is thankful that they are on a lighthearted date because he says that the majority of their convos have been super heavy and he wasn't sure if they could have fun together. Whose fault is that, Tim? We gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. He says that this date makes him feel comfortable knowing that they will be able to have fun together. So now it's time for my favorite couple, okay? It's Tyler's birthday, and Ashley, she set balloons up. She got the cake for him, everything, and he sent her flowers, and Ashley reads him a beautiful letter, which I love because this letter showed that she was finally beginning to open up to him, and he's making her feel safe enough to be able to open up to him. And Ashley says that she's gonna get out of her own way because her gut and her heart is telling her that she is safe with Tyler. And oh my God, Tyler is crying. Ashley is crying. I was crying. It was just such a beautiful moment. And Tyler thanks Ashley for the letter, and then he asks her to stand up.
Here, like, you mean the world to me. You are the most beautiful person on the inside that I've ever met. You've made me feel safe like I've never felt before in my life. This has been the happiest time of my life. God-fearing, I can't wait to pray with you. Ashley, will you marry me?
I would be honored to marry you, Tyler. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, it was so beautiful. And they both said, I love you. Is this the first proposal where someone said, I love you? I don't know, but they both said it. And listen, when they say it, I believe them. These two, I don't feel like they're here for play. At all. It's not giving, oh, let's just make it to the honeymoons to get a free vacation. Let's just make it to the altar. Okay. And when they went back to the quarters, I started crying again. So meanwhile, we see Brittany and Hannah bonding over both dating Leo. And I'm like, okay, besties. And we also see Brittany have a vulnerable moment because she says that having to date without her looks is new for her, and she considers her looks to be her superpower.
I realized I have, I didn't realize it was like this deep. I think when I'm pinned against other women, that was another beautiful, amazing woman. It's just like, oh, here we go again. I'm like, not the only person they're dating.
Then we see Leo having a conversation with one of the guys, and he says that Hannah is his top choice, okay? The guy whose name I don't even know, right? The guy tells Leo that Hannah was his top pick, okay? And he says that in one of their conversations, Hannah told him that she's 5'9", and the guy, whatever his name is, he said that he's 5'8". And he said that, baby, after that, Hannah cut him off, okay? He didn't hear from her ever again. And he said that he didn't have an issue with Hannah being taller than him, but clearly Hannah had an issue. So I guess he's trying to let Leo know that Hannah might be more into looks than she's trying to let on, and that Hannah might be a bit shallow. So child, next we see Leo go on a date with Brittany, and she is absolutely fed up because he's saying all of these sweet nothings. And she's like, look, if you're here to break up with me, just do it. Just do it. I will be fine, okay? And Leo's like, oh my God, you're so sweet. And she says, look, I'm tired of everyone saying that I'm so sweet, but Britt, remember, that is the role that you have been playing since you got here, okay? I will say this about Brittany, because since we're not in the pods, we're not in the women's quarters, I always like to see how the ladies interact. That kind of gives me some insight into if someone is nice or not. The way that the ladies interact with Brittany and the way that she interacts with them leads me to believe that Brittany is a sweetheart, okay? She is a sweetheart, but I don't get bad vibes from Brittany, especially based on how all of the other ladies treat her. But in this scene, she's really upset, and it's like, why do y'all come on this show knowing that you're gonna be competing with other people and then get upset that you have to compete with other people? That is the premise of this entire show. But while I was watching this date between her and Leo, I was so irritated that Leo even had options. Like, I was mad watching Leo sit there like, oh, I got this one, I got this. Why does he even have options? Now listen, in my cast reveal video, I said I was not gonna pass any judgment based on anyone because of their sign. I'm an Aries, Leo is an Aries, but like I said in my cast reveal video, male Aries, they're a little different, okay? And Leo is proving that right now. So on this date, we see Leo ask Brittany to wait because he still needs to have another date and a conversation with Hannah. And she tells him that he can even sleep on it, take his time. And she says that for tonight's date, she wants it to be fun. She just wants to worry about the two of them. She doesn't want to have any conversations about this little love triangle that they have going on. And Leo tells her that he will give her an answer by tomorrow. So next we see him on a date with Hannah, and they have a very important conversation.
Obviously, like, I'm so incredibly financially blessed. Of course, I would want me and like my wife to like live a lifestyle, and my family I think would want that too. Having a prenup is something that's like really important to me.
No, like I completely understand. Yeah, I'll do a prenup and stuff.
Hannah says she don't got no money, so she has no problem signing a prenup. Whatever Leo wants to do, she's down, okay? Then the two of them get to speaking on insecurities, and Hannah tells Leo about her issues with weight that stem from her childhood. She says that she gained weight during the panini. I mean, who didn't, okay? And she also says that she lost 45 pounds since then. Leo tells Hannah that he loves her so much and he wouldn't care if she was 500 pounds. I don't believe him, okay? He's just saying whatever at this point to both women. And then he also says that he wouldn't say the word love to either of the ladies until he is 100% sure that he's ready to get down on one knee and propose. Whatever. Hannah tells Leo that she would say yes if he proposed in this moment, but she says that she also has other connections. Hannah, you two all over the place. You two all over the place for me, okay? So next we see Hannah. She's on her date with Nikki D, and he opens up about his depression about not going pro, right? And she asks him if he does well financially. She's like, okay, you ain't going pro, but how much money you make? How much money you making? Because I quit my job to be here, okay? Are we good? Can you take care of both of us, Hannah? That sounds like a you problem. That sounds like a you problem, boo. And Nick does say that he just started in real estate, so he's not making 6 figures yet. And he also says that this year was pretty tough on him financially. Hannah, the fact that you quit your job to be here says a lot, girl. She then tells Nick that when she was a child, her mom used to lock the kitchen cabinets, and she says that she struggled with her weight. Now, you can tell by what Hannah is saying that her mom really traumatized her in regards to her weight and in regards to food, and that is something that has stuck with her every single day of her life. But Nick says the same thing Leo says. He says that he doesn't care what she looks like and he loves her for her soul. Now, we've heard this time and time again on Love is Blind and the pods. Everyone be like, oh, I don't care what you look like. I feel like the only person or one of the only people who kind of made it clear that they want a certain look was Clay. Remember when Clay was saying, oh, I need to know if you got a fat ass or not. So next we see Monica and Steven. They go on their little date and they tell each other that they've been referring to each other as boyfriend and girlfriend when they were back in the quarters. And Steven isn't even weirded out by the fact that Monica still sleeps with her childhood teddy bear named Rosie. All is right in the world between these two. They're vibing, they're loving each other, and then they both say those magic words.
I love you. Like, you are.
I love you too.
You're everything I've been looking for.
I love you.
Don't cry. Are you crying?
No.
Okay. Oh my God. Now it's time for Ashley and Tyler to meet. I don't think I've ever started tearing up before a reveal, ever. But I was so excited for these two to finally see each other.
This is crazy.
This is wild.
Oh my God.
I'm good. How are you?
How are you?
Ashley. Will you marry me?
I will, yes. Tyler.
Look amazing.
Thank you.
Cool.
Shocked you, huh? You didn't know what you was getting, did you?
So you can tell that the both of them were clearly nervous, but they definitely both look very happy with each other. They both start tearing up. They're complimenting each other. They keep kissing. It was really sweet and wholesome, and I will be so upset if these two are not together anymore. Please. Oh gosh. So now we're back to Hannah, Nick, Brittany, and Leo. And at this point in the episode, I was just ready to fast forward, but I didn't. I watched every second for y'all. Did you subscribe? Have you subscribed yet? Have you hit like? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for yelling. I'm just checking, okay? So I'm just going to run through these conversations that these people had because it was like 10 conversations of the same thing. Oh, I don't know. Do you love me? Do you love him? Do you love her? Oh my gosh. So Nick D tells Hannah that he's in love with her. She says it back and she says that she finally has this all figured out, okay? Hannah says that she has this all figured out now. And I'm like, okay, Hannah, so I better not see you on your next date with Leo, bawling, crying, telling him you don't know what to do. We see Leo ask Brittany what kind of ring she wants, and Brittany is like, oh, are you going to ask Hannah the same question? And he was like, yeah, I'm either going to ask both of y'all or not ask either of y'all. And Brittany's like, that doesn't even make any sense. If I was Brittany, I would be like, hold up, why are we even discussing a ring, what kind of ring I like, if you don't even know if we're going to be together? You still back and forth between me and Hannah. Back it on up, baby. You on Z, we need to bring it back to A. Back, beep, 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 beep. Back it on up. You skipping a couple of steps. We don't need to speak about any ring, okay? And Brittany says that even if her and Leo do end up together, the fact that he is so torn with this decision between her and Hannah is going to put a stain on the relationship either way. But child, next we see Hannah. She goes back to the quarters and she tells the ladies that she is over Leo, she's done with Leo, and she is gonna pick Nikki D. And they're all celebrating, they're all happy for her, but back at the men's quarters, Leo is over there telling the guys that he's leaning more towards Hannah. Now this scene right here, this scene pissed me off. We see Hannah, she goes on her date with Leo, and off the bat, she tells Leo that her feelings are stronger for someone else. She's speaking about Nikki D, okay? She goes in there and tells him that she's pretty much breaking up with him.
Have you and him decided this?
Yeah.
Fuck, Hannah.
And then on top of that, he's like, why? He starts doing the most.
That's why I'm here sitting with you, Hannah. Marrying someone, I do not take that shit lightly, Hannah. Right now, I have another person. It's not the same feelings, though. And that's how you're gonna get married? Then maybe I'm not special enough. And if that's the case, I'm not the one for you.
And it's so annoying because he's telling Hannah, oh, you weren't sure about me. And I'm like, bro, you weren't sure about her. You just told her that you need more time to pick between her and Brittany. I'm happy that Hannah stood up for herself a teeny bit and she said, you weren't sure about me either. Listen, at this point, I was like, get Leo off my screen. Get him off my screen, please. And episode 3 ends there. And I was like, look, if Brittany and Leo end up together and she has to watch this back, she is going to be pissed. All right, so now we're on to episode 4 and Leo is still pressuring Hannah. His voice is getting higher and higher. And I would have been like, hold up, who the fuck are you talking to? Not me. What? The way I would have left Leo sitting there looking dumb, because who are you talking to? And then he starts pressuring her even more. He's like, what if I was to propose right now? And I'm like, what if? Are you proposing? No, so what are you talking about? It's irrelevant. Y'all have no idea how much I wish that I was able to reach into my computer screen and snatch Hannah up out that pod. Girl, you don't owe this man an explanation. You really don't. And then if I wasn't already pissed enough, this man starts guilting her, manipulating her, and trying to flip this whole situation.
God damn it, I was planning on saying all this right now, but in a very different context.
I thought like you were gonna be like, it's fine, like I have a strong connection with Brittany. Like,
No, and I have another connection I can go to. You understand? It's not even like I have another and I'm still fucking here, Hannah.
And now he's making her doubt her own choice. Listen, Hannah is all over the place. She's very immature. She does not stand on business when it comes to her decisions. But Leo is making my stomach turn in the scene because he knows what he's doing. He's using guilt. He's using manipulation. And I think that is very dangerous. It is a huge red flag. And this scene felt like it went on forever. All you hear is Leo, oh my God, Hannah, like, how could you, like, how come, who, like, why, like, get this man off my screen, please. But on the flip side, I gotta give the flip side. If I was Leo or Nick, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a woman like Hannah either, okay? Someone who makes decisions based on what her friend tells them to do, and then someone who is easily talked out of her decisions after she makes them. How do you build a life with someone like that? How do you plan with someone like that? You can't. And at this point, I was like, Hannah, I hope you and your old boss still cool. You need to call him back, baby, and get your job. Beg for your job back, because I don't think that this is gonna work out. So next we see Bodan and Marissa on a date, and they speak more about politics. They speak more about their dislike for Trump, and they bond over that. But Monica, remember, you dated a Trump supporter for 3 years. So when did you realize that you didn't like Trump as a person, as a candidate, and you stayed with the Trump supporter? I don't get that. How did that work? Next, we see Tim give Alex a meaningful and heartfelt gift.
So that bracelet is something my older sister bought for my middle sister. So that was from sister to sister. And unfortunately, you don't have the opportunity to meet, but everything I know about them and everything I know about you, I know that they love you. And I don't have a doubt in this world. That is how seriously I take it.
All right, I'm gonna read my notes for this part because this is what I felt in that moment. By the end of this episode, I don't feel that way. But in this moment, I said, woo, Tim ain't effing around. That was so beautiful. But this is also where I started to feel a little bit uneasy about Tim. I understand that Tim mentions his sisters to help Alex understand the depth, right? Understand the depth of his love for her and how serious he is about her. I get that. But at this point, I was like, okay, Tim, you're gonna have to learn how to discuss your feelings for her without having to bring up your sisters, without having to connect it to something of your sisters. You're gonna need to be able to separate that a little bit, and I do not wanna sound insensitive. I promise you I don't. But at this point, I was like, okay, but are you able to articulate your love for her without connecting it to your sisters in some way? Because what that does with the conversation, it makes a conversation that's supposed to be beautiful and full of love, it adds a sadness to it every single time. And you're the same one who said that y'all conversations are very heavy and you were wondering if y'all could have fun, but you tie grief into almost every conversation that y'all have. How can it be fun if it's always sad? Right? But we'll get back to Tim later, okay? Next, we see a special moment between Steven and Monica.
I don't even know what you look like. But I do know that I genuinely love you. Will you marry me?
I've been waiting 36 years. And I love you so much, and it would be an honor to be your wife. So yes, absolutely.
And then we see after a great astrological confirming date that Marissa had with Ramses, she decides to cut things off with Bodan and go all in on Ramses. And Bodan, he takes it pretty well. He says that he's made peace with the fact that he's going home alone. It's part of the game. He's okay with it. Next, we get a scene that has me saying, yes, Hannah, because she says exactly what I was saying about Leo. And it's great that she was able to realize that on her own.
And I thought Leo was wonderful. I never want to be manipulated. He was yelling at me. And that's kind of what I felt like he was doing to me. I think she deserves to know how he reacted. I don't know if he's just like spiraling or if he's confused.
I appreciate you telling me.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I was like, ooh, I want Leo to go home by himself. I don't want Leo to match with anyone. I don't want him to get engaged to anyone. I want him to pack his bags, pack up his little Rolex, and go home, okay? Let him be comforted by his inheritance and his little art paintings. But meanwhile, Leo is back at the men's quarters mixing up Brittany and Hannah's names and telling the guys how much these ladies were crying for him on their dates. Boy, shut up. Next we see Leo. He has another date with Hannah and he apologizes for raising his voice at her when she was in such a vulnerable state. And he asks her for her forgiveness and she does forgive him. And then Hannah initiates a breakup with Leo.
That was such a horrible side of me. Do you at least forgive me?
Yeah, I do. That like feeling that I have with my other person is just not there.
Yeah. The fact is, we're not compatible. Nick is everything that, like, I'm not.
He's my person, you know? I've known that this whole entire time.
That's exactly how I feel about Brittany. You and Nick are meant to be, and me and Brittany were meant to be.
And before she could get everything out, Leo's like, oh yeah, we not compatible. Yeah, you know, I love Brittany. I've always loved her from day one. Brittany's been my, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this motherfucker, you are so full of shit, Leo. He's really trying to make it seem like he came there to break up with her. And then Leo says this.
If there's one thing I would ask you to do for me, I'm scared that she's gonna think that I'm choosing her because like she's my second option. I would like beg of you to tell Brittany that like it really was mutual. Let her know like how I'm sitting here talking to you and all I can think about is just wanting to get down on one knee for Brittany. Like it's literally all I want to do.
Oh my God, Leo, you know this show is being recorded, right? You know Brittany's gonna see all of this, right? You know that, right? And then he says that he actually told the producers to cancel this date with Hannah. And Hannah's like, that's not what you told me last night. That's not what you told me last night. Listen, Leo is fake. He's manipulative. He's conniving. He's villainous. He's all of the things. All of the things. And I understood why Leo was single before, but I definitely understand it now. And then this man has the nerve to go back to the men's quarters and act like he's the one who broke up with Hannah. That is not what happened. Next, we see Hannah go back into the women's quarters, and she doesn't tell Brittany everything that was said on the date, but she does make it clear that Leo was saying one thing last night, and then today he switched it up and was saying something completely different. Okay, so now we're back to Tim and Alex, okay? Tim reads Alex a letter that he wrote to her dad, pretty much asking Alex's dad for her hand in marriage, right? Stay with me. It's really cute, okay? In the letter, Tim says that he will treat Alex with the same respect as he would his sisters. Again, bringing up your sisters in a moment that is supposed to be just for you and Alex. I really hope that y'all understand where I'm coming from. I hope that I'm explaining it right. I don't want anyone to think that I'm being insensitive. I really don't. And I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a counselor. But it doesn't seem healthy that Tim is a bit unable to express his emotion or his love without pulling from his grief and his loss with his sister. I don't know what's the term for it. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't seem healthy. And I do hope that Tim is in therapy to get some help with working through this grief in a healthy way. But I can't help to think about that bracelet, right? The bracelet that belonged to his sister that he gave to Alex. If one day he comes home and Alex doesn't have that bracelet on, or if they go somewhere and she doesn't wear the bracelet, would that be a trigger for him? It's things like that that I would want to know. How has he processed this loss? Will he be expecting Alex to act in ways that his sisters did? You get what I'm saying? I just feel like Tim's pain goes very deep, which is 1000% understandable, but I don't want that to fall on Alex in this relationship. So now it's time for Monica and Steven's reveal.
For you.
You're so cute.
It's a cute reveal. They're complimenting each other. They're kissing. They do a little twirl for each other.
Don't go too fast. Oh, all right. Ooh, oh my God. Ooh.
Now this is cute, but Steven's kisses, they scared me a little bit. I was like, oh, baby, slow down, okay? He is definitely gonna grab that face, grab that neck every single time. I think that's a good move to make once y'all have established that everyone's cool with it. But for the first meeting, I was just like, oh, slow down, Steven. But for now, Monica seems okay with it, and they both leave the reveal with smiles. Next, we see Ramses and Marissa. They go on a little date, and he wrote her this love letter for her to read. Honestly, I would have been like, producer, give this letter back to him. You read it to me. I'm not reading. You read it. Why I gotta read it? I want to hear you read it. So they're sharing I love yous, and I'm like, when is this man gonna propose? Marissa tells Ramses that she worries that he'll just stop loving her out of nowhere, and she also asks him if her personality would be too much for him at times. And he kind of tries to reassure her. He says, no, not really, as long as you have your moments when you're on your own. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? Does he mean like you won't be too much for me as long as you have like times when you just like get away from me for a little bit? I don't know. That had me looking at Ramses kind of like, Next we see Nick and Hannah. They're telling each other how sure they are of each other. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. We see Nikki D tell Hannah to stand up and, you know, we know what's next. He proposes and she says yes. Okay, finally that's done. Moving on. So now it's time for Tim and Alex's reveal, okay? And before this reveal happened, I said, please let this be all about the two of them, just the two of them, please. So before the reveal, Alex is nervous because she says, look, I'm not a size 2, and she's hoping that that's not a deal breaker for Tim.
I know it.
So this is a scene that had me like, all right, the chuckles, I understand that they're nervous, but the chuckles had me like, I don't know. And then he didn't even re-propose to her. He just gave her the ring and she put it on herself. I would have been like, you gonna get down on your knee? You gonna get down on your knee, right? You gonna put the ring on me, right? Now let me say this. In the cast reveal video, Tim said that he was looking for a Black woman. And I was like, yeah, okay, Black love, Black love. But now that I see how he's moving, after hearing things that he said, it makes me wonder if Tim is just looking for a Black woman to have a Black daughter with. I wonder if that's the true end goal, giving his parents another daughter, as opposed to being a husband, right? Finding a wife so that they can build a life together. Tell me what you think below. Again, I don't know how many times I could say, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I hope I'm not offending anyone. I don't want to offend anyone. This is just what I'm gathering from this reveal. Where is the romantic Tim that was in the pods saying all of these sweet things, right? How can that Tim who was in the pods come out here, not re-propose, not get down on his knee and just hand you the ring and have you put it on yourself? Now, my theory can be completely wrong, okay? My opinion, what I say means nothing in these people's lives. I don't know them, they don't know me. I'm just a lady on YouTube making videos, okay? But that's what I feel right now. And then when they sit down, Tim notices that Alex has a nose ring and he's like, oh, my sister also had a nose ring and they both got it when they were 18 years old. They make a few jokes and stuff. They're smiling, they're complimenting each other. But honestly, I'm not feeling this couple. I feel like Tim has a lot that he needs to work through before entering into a relationship. That's just what I feel. I don't want these two to be together. Something doesn't seem 100% right about Tim, but my opinion is irrelevant. I'm just a lady on the internet making videos. Child, so enough of that. Next we see Leo and Brittany, and she reads him a letter.
But right now, about any other connection you have, I feel like our connection has been tainted by your words to someone else.
And the episode ends there, okay? And I'm sitting there like, listen, episode 5 better start off with you dumping Leo and sending his ass home by himself. Don't tell me what happened, y'all. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping that that is how episode 5 starts. Let me know all your thoughts below about episodes 1 through 4 only. I cannot wait to chop it up with you guys. I will try to get my next video out as soon as possible, okay? Give mama some time, all right? Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Double check to make sure that YouTube did not unsubscribe you, okay? And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.
Roxy says we're gonna talk